Welcome back. You're watching News Center. The big news coming in, Elon Musk has been looking at an India entry for Tesla, also for SpaceX and Starlink. The breaking news just in is that Airtel has actually signed an agreement with SpaceX to bring Starlink high-speed internet services to India. How is this going to happen? What are the contours of the deal? Let me get in Ashmit Kumar, my colleague. Ashmit, what is the agreement between the two parties? How soon can we expect Starlink to arrive in India? Or is this a statement of intent and exploratory talks right now?
Well, there does appear to be, the ink appears to have settled as far as these conversations between the two sides are concerned. And for a very long time, the conversations had been in the telecom space, in the telecom world, ever since Elon Musk had set his sights on India. The conversation was, how does a satellite-based network compete with a network like that of Airtel, which is a terrestrial network? The answer, it seems, is that of a hybrid approach, and that's the approach that Starlink as well as Airtel have taken. They've signed an understanding between the two sides, an agreement between the two sides to bring the Starlink ecosystem, their satellite-based high-speed internet here to the Indian market. Now, the fine print is very important, Parikshit, like you were pointing out. In terms of what the process, what the timeline may look like, well, the timeline will be subject to the nod, the security approval coming in from the government of India. So that will have to come from the MHA, from the DOT, those approvals. The agreement, the press release very clearly points out, is for Starlink to procure on its own effort. So that is something that Starlink will have to do here. Will have to reassure the authorities with respect to its compliance with the security framework, with respect to the licensing framework. All of that is something that rests on the shoulders of Elon Musk-owned Starlink. In terms of what this system with this combined entity will look like, well, as far as the combination is concerned, there appears to be synergies that they're looking to exploit. As far as Starlink is concerned, it is looking for a distribution network within the country. As far as Airtel is concerned, it is looking to expand its portfolio of services. So, in fact, Airtel is very keen on pointing out, as far as the Starlink enterprise suite of solutions are concerned, that will help expand the portfolio of Airtel services that it can offer to businesses, to enterprises, as well as to communities. What does this combined entity do as far as Starlink is concerned? Well, distribution network. Their equipment, which they'll have to deploy, can be deployed through the Airtel channels. That's a part of the understanding. Also, the various Starlink products that are being offered, which again can be offered to Airtel customers. So the distribution network is essentially what Starlink is hoping to benefit from. And finally, let's also not forget that Bharti Enterprises is also one of the largest shareholders as far as OneWeb is concerned, which is also setting up its own version of low Earth orbit satellites, its own constellation of satellites. So both these constellations are expected to work in conjunction. In fact, on the subject of Elon Musk's entry into India, I posed that question to Lieutenant General Dr. S.P. Kochar, the DG of CAOI. Let's listen in to what he had to say. Elon Musk, amongst many other of his ventures, is also looking at India not just from an auto perspective, from an EV perspective, but also from a telecom perspective. Very recently, we had a conversation with Sajjan Jindal, and he said, is it that easy for Elon Musk to just come here? Can he do, and he was talking about the auto industry, he said, can he do what a Mahindra is doing or what a Tata is doing? I posed that same question to you. As he's exploring the Indian shores, is it so easy for Elon Musk to come in and then try to do here what incumbent legacy players have been doing for decades on end?
See, I don't know Elon Musk, right? Personally, I don't know him. But the point is, India is a country which is dictated by the benefits it can accrue to the government sees that benefits it can accrue to the country and the citizenry of India. India is a democracy. If anybody wants to enter Indian market and has a sound business plan to enter, and that ties in with the aims of the government of India for the benefit of the citizenry, then it will happen. The question is whether he will be able to run a business or not. That is not for you or me to say. That is a business plan for a person concerned. And that is, he has to work within the ecosystem of the Indian framework. Mm-hmm. If he follows the framework and he feels that he can benefit the country, and the government feels that this will bring benefits to the country in segments which the terrestrial players can't go to, then it will happen. Mm-hmm. It's not a question of whether he can do it or not. It's a question of environment. Environment created will dictate whether it will be successful or not.
And the Director General of Cellular Operators Association of India also spoke to Ashmit about the kind of issues that Indian telecom companies are facing with 5G spending and the impact that it's having on return on investment.
See, 5G was a new technology, and it's not only in India, it is across the world. And it takes time for the technology to roll out and getting accustomed to that technology, getting applications developed against that technology. When the next version comes, you compare 3G and 4G. So 3G was a new technology, and 3G didn't show any applications. 4G did. Same thing is happening, I think, with 5G, but it's happening at a faster pace. At least the application has started surfacing across the world. By the time they mature, they will migrate into 6G, where it is required. So it is not that applications are not there. It is a learning phase in which we will get applications, but the curve of expenditure is rather steep, and we were expecting that application will come faster.
In terms of the ROI, what is the figure that is operating as an average for the Indian industry in terms of ROI? And what are the factors responsible? Is it a case of not having enough 5G use cases as of right now where we stand in 2025? Or is it a function of perhaps increased expenditure? Or third, is it a function of both? Not having enough use cases and high expenditure?
So it is the universe of telecom networks doesn't consist only of 5G. So it will be wrong for me to say that ROI is depleting only because of 5G. But India being the cheapest, one of the cheapest markets in the world, we cannot expect too much of rise in ROI because of subscriber tariffs. Neither do we want to tax the subscriber. Therefore, we have to reduce our expenditure. Now, with the current technology and with the current applications which are flowing, that is not possible.
Sure.
If we do not invest in networks, we will not be able to give the type of services that a subscriber wants, especially for 5G. Right. So we have to invest.
Is this a case again that the industry is making for revenue sharing with the OTT, in this case the large traffic generators, given the impact that it has in terms of infrastructure spends?
If I look at it in an overall perspective, you're right, LTGs should share with us. 4 or 5 large traffic generators who are garnering about 70% of the traffic that flows over our networks.
Sure.
So they are the ones who should contribute to the growth of the network, right? Now, whether it is in the form of sharing of revenue or it is in the form of direct contribution or indirect contribution through the government, that is something that the discussions are going on.
All right, on that note, we take a short break. That's all we have time for on the program, but lots more coming up on CNBC TV18, so stay tuned in.